Welcome to Business Brief. It's July the 30th, 2026, and it's a Thursday. To my businessmen and women, I hope we're navigating business so well. Again, I'm going to remind you, you need to put system in place so the business can run as an entity on its own. With you present, without you, the business is running smoothly. If that business cannot run without or with you present, we need to do a revamp. That revamp starts right here and right now. But that being said, let's talk business. Consumer borrowing in Nigeria has recorded its first decline in 6 years as high interest rates and rising borrowing costs continue to discourage households from taking new loans. Now, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria's 2025 annual report, outstanding consumer credit fell by nearly 20% to 3.78 trillion naira, down from 4.72 trillion naira. The CBN attributed the decline to the country's high interest rate environment, which has made borrowing more expensive for households. The decline was driven largely by a drop in personal loans, even as retail lending recorded some growth. Analysts say many Nigerians are delaying major purchase and reducing borrowing as they adjust to higher loan repayments and tighter financial conditions. The figures underscore the pressure facing many households as borrowing becomes even more expensive. Economists say the pace of future consumer lending will depend on interest rates, inflation, and broader improvement in household incomes. Away from that story, the World Trade Organization says the global economy is entering a new phase with shifting trade patterns and economic realignment, creating fresh opportunities and challenges for emerging markets, including Africa. Addressing the 7th Africa Emerging Market Forum in Abuja, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said long-standing macroeconomic imbalances must be addressed to support a more stable global economy. She noted that Asian economies need to rely more on domestic demand, while the United States must strengthen its fiscal position and increase national savings. Let's take a moment from that meeting with Okonjo-Iweala.
China needs to consume more domestically and rely less on export-led growth, since it is difficult for the rest of the world to absorb its large export surpluses, whilst the U.S. has to save more and get its fiscal house in order. But this is not to say that there are no real problems in the way both global trade and the World Trade Organization are operating. And that is part of what has brought us to the current juncture. Unless we also acknowledge the problems with global trade rules and policies, we shall be doing a disservice to everyone who is dissatisfied with the present global economic conditions.
Okonjo-Iweala also said the changing global economic landscape presents new opportunities for African economies to expand trade, strengthen regional value chains, and attract investment as global supply chains continue to evolve. And now, Nigeria's liquefied natural gas exports have reached a major milestone, with Nigeria LNG Limited announcing it has shipped over 6,000 cargoes since operations began, generating more than $150 billion in revenue. The company says it has paid over $47 billion in dividends to shareholders and more than $10 billion in taxes to the federal government, underlining the sector's importance to public finances and foreign exchange earnings. NLNG also expects its Train 7 expansion project to raise production capacity by about 35%, increasing Nigeria's LNG export as global demand for natural gas remains strong. For Nigeria now, higher LNG exports could mean stronger foreign exchange inflows and increased government revenue, though analysts say the broader economic impact, however, will depend on how those earnings are managed and whether they translate into investment, infrastructure, and more jobs. And that's what we'll leave it today on Business Brief. Many thanks for staying tuned.